Would you like to give us just a little bit about your story?
Certainly, yeah. So I'm a multi-style martial artist. I started aged 11 back in 1990, where my first martial art was Lau Gar. I've trained in multiple systems. My main style is Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, which I started in 1994. Some 5 years ago now I went independent of the organisation I was with, so I now run my own style of Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, and I dabble in a multitude of other martial arts. I'm always looking to steal what other people have got that I haven't in order to improve my martial art and give the best experience for my students.
Awesome. So you started a long time ago. I'm not going to ask you your age because I've
just turned 40.
Well, I've put everyone in the 21 club, and
sure.
It's a magic club, and we don't age when we do martial arts. So you have been involved for a good 29 years.
Yeah.
So do you think it's changed dramatically from when you first started to how it is now?
Yes, it certainly has. When I started martial arts, I didn't choose my art based on what I wanted to do or based on the best club or best instructor. It was what we had available. Back in those days, early 90s, there weren't that many clubs around, so you went to what your town or village had. And now every man and his uncle teaches martial arts. Everybody's got a black belt these days. There's so much choice out there. Not long ago, having a black belt was a really big deal, and now so many people have got 2, 3 black belts because they're constantly looking at different art, and it includes me, looking at other martial arts, looking at what they can assimilate. There's so much choice available. People are more able to look up the best clubs around, or look at the best instructors, or even look up what's right for them, which never used to be the case.
So what would your advice be for someone who wants to start out in martial arts?
Okay, so this happens a lot. We advertise, we get inquiries, get text messages from people, emails from people. I'd like to come train with you. I'd like my son, daughter to come train with you. And what I generally tell people is, look, I can tell you all day long what we do and why I feel that my club and the way that I teach has merit. I do believe in what I teach, but the thing is, really, people need to come and see it for themselves, because I can extol all the virtues of my method of training, but really you have to enjoy what I'm teaching. And you're not going to know that unless you actually come and train. So this is what I say to people is, I could talk to you all day about the difference between sport martial arts and practical martial arts and cultural martial arts. I could talk to you all day about striking, grappling, groundwork, throwing, and weapons, but really you've got to do what's right for you, and what you think you want and what you actually end up enjoying can be very different things, and that's absolutely fine. To the budding student again, so you've got to go and give it a go. The only thing I would say these days is you need to have a critical mind. When you go to a club, you do need to ask certain questions. We know, we're very fortunate in the UK. There are some incredible instructors out there. Some of the best people in the world train and teach in the UK, and we are really fortunate to have access to those people. But as with any industry, or with any discipline, there will be people who don't meet particularly high standards, who are in it for the wrong reasons, who don't do the things that I would expect that instructors would do. And I don't just mean their teaching ability, I mean all the background stuff. And I think it's important to go along and just find out what people's credibility is and why it is that they are safe as instructors, and why it's a positive, safe learning environment.
I think we've had a few people doing the interviews, and they've said the same thing, that there seems to be a bit of a standard that may have dropped a little bit, where black belts are being given after maybe a couple of years. So
that's not what I mean. I don't dispute that.
No.
I don't dispute that some grades are worth more than others.
But from a teaching point of view, how long would you say someone should have trained martial arts before they start teaching?
I don't know, because it's more than just time. There's a maturity and experience that comes with teaching. I opened my club aged 24, and I now look back and realise the errors that I made then, because I was too young, too immature, too inexperienced then. Okay? That said, there are some 18-year-olds out there who are very professional, very competent, and do fantastic jobs as instructors. How many years has the 18-year-old been training for? 10 years, and the 24-year-old been training for 5 years? I don't know. When we talk about length of time training, is that once a week? Is that in the club 5 times a week and going off to seminars at the weekend? I don't know. And the thing is that there's more to it than just what you do in martial arts. My professional life has a huge impact on the way that I teach martial arts and the way that I run my club.
Because your professional life's completely different to martial arts, isn't it? You're a nurse?
I'm a
male nurse?
I'm a nurse, yeah.
You don't expect to find many male nurses doing martial arts, to be fair.
Okay, sure, I like to think so. But when you get, if you take as other examples, if somebody's a school teacher and they're teaching martial arts, that gives them a different insight. If somebody's come out of the army and they've been an army instructor, as an example, that gives them a different insight and a different professionalism. For me, yes, so I'm a nurse, and there's lots of things that come with that. My speciality as a nurse is I'm an emergency nurse practitioner. I'm also an advanced nurse practitioner. I've just got a new job. But as part of that, so apart from doing emergency care, I'm very highly taught. I have to undergo a lot of training in safeguarding. So I do a lot with my club in terms of risk assessments and safeguarding policies, and do my utmost to be sure that I'm promoting a safe training environment that's hopefully it's hard training. I certainly aim to push my students, but crucially that it's safe, that the students are protected, that we look out for our students, we look after our students as well. And these are the things I don't think every club quite does. This is what I mean by needing the background stuff, needing your policies in place. It's all the stuff. We don't come to martial arts to write policies, but if you're going to run a club, it's got to be there. And I think, in a very roundabout way, kind of going off on tangents, this is it. Is I think the budding student, when they go to a new club, they need to know they're going to enjoy it, and the only way to do that is to have a go. But you need to be looking at the credibility of the club and the credibility of the instructor, and there are some very professional people out there, but there are also cowboys.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on what they're wanting from it as well. So whether they're wanting a sport club, maybe their ambition might be to go into the Olympics or something. Sure. I mean, I think we've had some ex-Olympic competitors, which is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely,
and it depends on their desires of what they want for their career. So looking into it, researching who they go to.
What's interesting is when you ask people why did you start martial arts, you commonly get a very small number of answers. I wanted to learn to defend myself.
Yeah.
I wanted more confidence, I wanted more discipline, I wanted to learn to fight. There's not many more answers than that, really. When you ask people, when you've been training 20, 25 years, why are you still doing it? You don't get the same answers.
Do you think that, because I come across that as well, I want to learn to fight.
Yeah.
Do you think that to want to learn to fight really goes hand in hand with the etiquette of martial arts?
Possibly.
Because you've got that martial arts you need to show self-control, you need to show. So is having self-control becoming a fighter? Does it go hand in hand, or is it complete polar opposites? Or is that where the belt grading system should come into place in order to get you through that hierarchy, and then you can do the competitions and fights?
Do you know what? That's really interesting.
To build a standard.
That's a really, really interesting question. I don't have an answer.
I'm really shocked that you don't.
I
know when I've got a really deep question, I know that people normally have an answer for it. So.
But when we talk about it, one thing that I talk about with my students, because I teach, my emphasis is practical martial arts, self-protection stuff. I do have a kickboxing club as well, but they're very separate. The students are taught in different ways, and they know there is a definite line.
Yeah, so you're keeping the styles separate, which
we're not trying to present one thing as something else.
Yeah.
And that is a whole other conversation. Interestingly, so I'm, like a lot of people, I'm a fan of MMA. I love watching the UFC. I've been fortunate enough to work alongside Leon Roberts, and I've done Mark Goddard's referees course. Rosie Sexton, former UFC fighter, is a friend of mine. Big fan of it, and I will stop up all night and watch the UFC live with my popcorn and my beer and my cat. But what I really don't like about MMA is some of the attitude that goes with it. Now I get, if you talk about the Conor McGregor's, is your extreme example. Conor McGregor is a very, very smart businessman. He knows how to sell seats. He knows how to sell tickets and how to make his money. He is incredibly good at that. But the kind of thing that he does, I don't like. You know, insulting Habib's wife's religion. It's not on. It's not cool. Okay? Mm-hmm. And this happens a lot. You know, I forget the term they use. All the stuff that goes on before the fight to build it up. I don't like that.
It's the hype and
the
bravados.
I don't like it. The people that I respect, people like Lyoto Machida, in latter years Anderson Silva, because they'll have their fight, win or lose, they stop and bow to their partner. And they don't, Anderson Silva I know in the past could be as bad as anybody else, in latter years much less so, but Lyoto Machida certainly. Georges St. Pierre was another example. Yoshihiro Akiyama, the people who actually interestingly come from more traditional backgrounds.